what I figured out is I am someone with my original frequency, person that is filled with inner calm, inner peace, holding space for others. It is really knowing your original frequency and being friends with this original frequency. And let's figure out what stands in my way to return to that.
What if the key to unlocking your full potential isn't about adding more, but revealing what's already there? In each episode of Magnificence, host Patricia Lindner guides you to reveal your natural brilliance, remove what's been stopping you, and reconnect to your authentic power. Join us as we explore how to access the magnificence that lives within us all.
You want to know the real reason why you are tired all the time? It's not your diet. It's not your to-do list. You're doing the things that you need to do to really feel energized and awake. You eat clean. You go to bed early and sleep for 8 hours. You meditate. You do some sports, and still you wake up and you feel drained. You feel tired. You feel this extreme level of fatigue. Maybe it's not physical. I want to tell you something. Maybe the true reason is that it's frequency fatigue. If you want to know more about what that is, and that sounds weird, I admit, then stay tuned and stay with us when Jason and I talk about the real reason why you are tired all the time. Jason, I'm so happy that we are diving into this topic because I think it's a very important topic. Many
this is definitely
people
one
may
that
identify with what I
hits close to
just
home for me.
said, what I
feel
talked
like I have
about.
been
And
sitting in
I
that
guess you
for
and I
so long, and
also
to
know
me, it's always
about
that difference of like
and I think it's a very
knowing
important topic
and
because
believing. Like I know all
people
the stuff.
ask themselves, what is
What's-
it? What is it
what's
that is
The
wrong?
block somewhere
What could
between
I
here and
shift?
here.
What could I
Right?
change? And this is
Keeping
why we
the
are here today.
keeping it. I think the first sign that there may be something to this that's clicking for folks is the fact that not just I do all that stuff and I'm still tired, but that it's different every day. Sometimes I do all that stuff. It's great. I feel wonderful. Hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm still doing that stuff. And then I'll go a week, 2 weeks of just, I'm exhausted all the time. I think we can all relate to that. So that's what's interesting is like, there must be something else. What is that? And that's what we're going to get into today. So walk us through what this frequency fatigue even is and, get us started on that path, how we can maybe identify that.
Yeah. So I came across that while working with people and also while working on myself. And what dawned on me that it was that so many people, they don't know the reason. And you just pointed that out. Today I did this, but I reacted like that. And today I ate this. And again, that showed up. I went to bed earlier, but I still feel so tired. And that is what happened to myself. That is what happened to lots of clients. And so I tried to really dig deeper into what that is and what the real reason could be. And I want to share a little picture with you and the audience. What I came across is that this frequency fatigue could be explained as something like a guitar out of tune. So when you want to fine tune the guitar so that the sound is amazing and you can sing the song and everything is in harmony, that's perfect. But for many of us, we are out of tune, out of sync with this original frequency that is ours. And as you can imagine, this guitar that is not in
That's
tune,
interesting because
the most
I
wonderful
could see
song
that,
would not sound
have that initial
good.
thought,
It
and
would not sound
that's something that
amazing.
will
It would
just
not sound
spiral, and especially if
harmonic.
you aren't
And that is what this frequency
consciously
fatigue
thinking
wants to say.
that
There
thought
is
that you just said.
something
But if
you
it's
run
down
on
in
maybe someone
inside,
else's
if you
frequency.
judge the world that
Something
way,
is
right?
out
Like,
of
oh,
tune.
if somebody knows what they're
Something
doing,
is not
they
correct,
have these
not in
results,
alignment with who you
then obviously
are,
you're at
who
some
you
level you're going to
originally
apply
are.
that to yourself.
And yeah, I hope
Something's
that
wrong,
explains
something's
um,
off
what
if
this
you know
frequency
what to
fatigue
do and you're
wants to
not
say.
doing it. Yeah, it is that idea also of, fighting against the current, right? When you're aligned with your ideal frequency, everything's in flow and you can move. So that's that underlying fatigue or energy, right? Either you're going against that flow or you're with it. And that's when things seem easier and fun and light. And of course you feel rested because you're right where you should be with that. So yeah, how are we even supposed to know what that is and identify? I think we've kind of talked about, the identifying, certainly the symptoms we can all relate to. How do we start to identify where we should be with things?
Wonderful question, Jason. And I loved the picture. I saw this river and I saw someone swimming against the currents, and that causes a lot of effort. And so when we are doing that, we are definitely out of sync and out of tune. And I also want to say that when you think of this picture and you imagine being in this river, it could also be that you do too
That's what
little.
I'm going
You
to call it
stop
from now on.
swimming
That's for
in this
sure.
flow,
Yeah,
then of
I'm such a
course you would
genius that
drown.
it's caused this
And that
paralysis.
means that
That's
not being
exactly how
in
I'm going to
sync or
describe
in
it from now.
tune with your frequency could mean that you are underneath this original frequency, or that you are far above, you're doing much too much, you're just swimming against the stream, against the currents. And um, of course, I want to answer the question that you asked. How could we identify this inner harmony, this frequency that is ours? First of all, I must say, and I must point that out, no one is like the other.
Yeah,
There is always a difference.
and to
And that
give
is why
folks some
I am
background, I
so
guess,
much against
on
those cookie
me,
cutter
since
approaches.
it's all
Do
about me
this and
today.
then you
No,
sleep well. Do that and then
since we
you
are
don't
diving
feel
into
tired anymore.
my
I think it
painful
is so
situation
important to see
in
yourself as
life,
a unique
uh,
individual
number one, that context
that wants
is
to go
that
back to
I have
purity, to
done
this
so much
original
work and
tone that you
introspection
are, this original
and getting
frequency.
help,
And
and I'm open, just like
how is this
today in this
possible? How can you
conversation. So
identify that?
I think that's
Um,
important to point
I
out,
worked on
because if I
something, and that is
answer
amazing.
anything as we
You
go
can
along
easily
too,
figure
it's just like,
out
yeah, I don't think that's it.
your
Like,
initial
it's
birth
because I've
frequency. That
sat in
is
that
exactly
and
the
really
frequency
considered
that
that
makes
a
you
lot and
swing
have this answer.
in
Like,
this
oh, there is some truth
harmonic
here. Oh, there
field
isn't.
of who you
Um,
are and what you do.
and back to
And
your
once you
question of
figure
that
that
feeling, there
out,
is
you
a
know,
drive, a
am
work ethic. I've
I
had it since I was a little
maybe
bitty child of
far away,
selling
maybe
things on the
doing
side of the road and wanting
too
to
many
make
things,
money,
or
and
am I below this
my
original
values up there.
frequency? And then
Having that
there are
work ethic
beautiful, easy,
is top.
creative,
That's what I
amazing,
admire in
energetic
people.
ways
That's what I
to
admire
return you
in
back to
myself when I
your
have it.
original
And
birth
I've had some
frequency, the
level of it
frequency
forever. Now,
with
of
which you
course, we're a
came
product of our
into this
environments, right? I
world,
know my
into this
grandparents
3D
were,
reality.
um,
And that is
they
the
worked their
true
butts off,
healing.
right?
That is
And
the true
they
healing for
rewarded
so
that. I
many
spent a lot of
things,
time with my
and that is the
grandparents, all
true
summers and all of that stuff,
returning to
growing up.
good sleep
And
in this
so that's
episode.
certainly a reinforced. That's great. Yeah. So how do we even identify that kind of stuff? And I guess give us an example too of maybe yours, maybe someone you've worked with. They see themselves this way, but really their frequency has been this, and it's like, that's what's going on.
So, Jason,
Say that
I want to
phrase
be so
to
honest.
myself,
We
which is like,
talked
come
in
on, dude,
episodes
do the work.
about your
Just come on.
issues. So
You know what to
I
do.
want to
Just
talk
do
about
it.
my
Let's go.
issue.
Because I
The
do know.
tired
Again, it's up
issue, the
here. I know
fatigue issue
what
is
to
one of my
do.
issues.
So why am I
And
not doing it? What is that?
I think that's why it is so dear to my heart. I exactly experienced what I said in the very beginning. I did all the things right, and I didn't know what else do they want me to do so that I don't feel so tired. I'm a clean eater. I do all the things that are um, really helping with good sleep. And so, what I figured out is I am someone with my original frequency that is a person that is filled with inner calm, inner peace, holding space for others. I'm not a doer person in my original frequency. I'm someone who offers space and invites people into the space so that they can develop. I'm not the doer type of person. Figuring that out just gave me so much internal friction because everyone who knows me would say, oh, she's the Spock, she's the doer. She knows everything. She is highly creative. She does 5 things simultaneously. That's right. And here you have the true reason for my fatigue. I was so much in a very different doer frequency than just being the 0 point frequency of holding the space, of being grounded, of taking breaks, not being inactive. I don't mean that. And not being an introvert. I don't mean that. It is so much deeper. But just as this example within this short episode, one can see when you figure out, oh, this is the origin. That is who I am. You will feel that. There could be some resistance, like I felt in the beginning. But the more I act or don't act or don't do things like I used them to do, and I did them because I was conditioned to be like that. So many years of doing it the same way and expectations from the outside made me just show up as this personality. And those thoughts inside myself, they formed my personality. And I'm more and more returning to this original frequency, and I'm so happy because I'm less tired.
And how did you reconcile that of, oh, this is the original, this is my ideal, but I identify with this. I like this identity I've made for myself, even though you recognize that it's out of frequency, out of harmony a little bit. I'm sure there was some mental gymnastics you had to do to like, oh, how do I let go of that part of me that everyone knows me as in order to live this way and to not even the doing part of it or not doing part of it, but the being at peace with it and bringing that in.
That is a tough question, Jason, because so for my part, I have been doing all of that in maybe a dissonant frequency for many, many decades, at least 4 decades, if not 5. I don't know when everything started exactly, but I think that's the case for many people. And you can't just jump from one frequency to the original frequency, so to speak. So, first of all, I think it is really knowing your original frequency and being friends with this original frequency. Because I told you, first of all, I felt like, oh, friction, friction. No, I'm not the still point. I'm not the space holder. I'm the doer. I'm the dancer. I'm the creative one. I'm the spark. I want to be the spark. I really had this internal conversation where it's like, no, no, no way. And then when I realized, hey, my body is so intelligent and it keeps showing me that there is something out of sync, that I'm not in harmony with who I really am. And I've done all the family constellation stuff, I've done everything. I realized, hey, just give it a chance and accept that this is the original frequency, and let's figure out what stands in my way to return to that. And so it's a process. Of course, it's a process. You need to be aware of the fact that your surrounding, your loved ones, won't accept you to change fast
For
because
sure. And this is
they've
going to
been
be one of
knowing
those
you
that,
forever the way
after
you
this, I
are.
sit with and
Plus,
do exactly
it's a process
what you say.
that
I think
you let go
there's a little bit of
of aspects that you
pushback in me
thought are
only in
your
that
personality, so
I
to
feel like
speak,
I've
because you thought
done
that's
that
who I
as
am.
well of,
And I'm so
okay, just,
grateful that I have some
I'm okay,
beautiful,
I'm
rapid
enough there.
working ways
There's,
to
it's
let go of what
okay.
is no longer
I'm
mine
open
and
to
what is no
what I need to
longer
do.
my
If it's
clients.
nothing,
And so I think it's
then
a
hey,
process. You
just
need
tell
to see
me,
that as a
right? If it's,
process. First
I've
step is
had that, and I
knowing your
think
frequency,
that's the
being
initial pushback
friends or becoming friends with it, and
to
then
that
figuring
comes up.
out how can I slowly move there.
Yeah, and I
And
certainly acknowledge too
a
that probably
beautiful
this
bonus
specific way
as an
and
answer
going
is
deeper,
there
that
are so
there's
many
something different
practical things
here.
you can do. You
And
can eat certain
in
food.
support of what you're
You
talking about
can
too,
listen to certain music. You can
I did
surround
something
yourself with certain colors.
similar within the
You
last year
can
that
spend some
your
time in
audience
certain
might find
places,
interesting in
and you
that
can do the
to can
work
speak to exactly what you're talking
in
about
so many
in
different ways, but it's a
analyzing my
practical thing, and that's what
beliefs,
I want to
values, and
stand
all of
for. I'm a
that.
practical
It was
person
interesting because
that wants to offer practical
I
things to
realized I
people,
did have
and
this
I
very
hope
strong
that
value
this
that
completely answered
if,
your question.
like, well, it does, and certainly the biggest part of that is that it is a process, like with any change, in our lives. The longer it's been anchored in one way, of course, it's going to take some time. But what you become for your clients in this process, and you give them the tools to become this for themselves, is to become that translator, right? Like, in the moment, my immediate instincts as a doer are to react this way and start this. What's the translation? What's that true frequency part? What would they do in this? It's almost translating a language. How would they respond to this situation? And moment by moment, that starts to build and brings you back to that. Because again, with a lot of changes, when we're getting back to who we really are, the disruption isn't as big as we think it's going to be. For some reason, everyone else just goes along and things smooth out, even without a conversation with folks. And it's just an amazing phenomenon that happens. And I can see that happening here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I also see that. And I love the word translator. I would add mirror. And I think it is a lot of being the mirror for people and showing them oh, in their process where to go, but offering the space. And now my 0 point frequency makes a lot of sense. Offering the space for transformation and for going back to their original frequency so that they thrive in their magnificent frequency that was always there. They just didn't see that, and they thought they are in the right frequency.
Yeah. I hope this lights people up with this newfound hope. Oh my goodness. Maybe this is an answer to some of the physical symptoms or emotional symptoms that I've been struggling with and just can't find that answer, I think this is a great coming back to center solution to then restart that journey maybe into what's going on. For folks who want to do that, what do they do? How do they reach out and find out more about their birth frequency and all of these things?
So, of course, the easiest thing is to directly reach out to me, to book a call with me, to have a conversation where I surely can talk more about what I briefly shared in this episode. And so, especially when you feel tired, but Jason, you mentioned so many other issues that could show up that have to do with this being out of the original frequency, root cause of everything. Always reach out. Reach out, send me a message or book a call with me. There is a lot we could do to bring you into your inner harmony and to let you see your amazing magnificence. Um, so I'm here to talk, happy to talk. I'm happy to have a beautiful conversation with you.
Fantastic. I think this has been a great one.
I think so. I think so. Thank you, Jason, for being with me in this episode.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Magnificence. Remember, your path to success isn't about discovering something new. It's about revealing the power you already possess. If you're ready to take the next step in uncovering your own magnificence, schedule an illumination call at patricialindner.com. Make sure to subscribe to the show and join us next time as we continue exploring practical ways to unlock your natural brilliance. Until then, trust that your magnificence is already within you, ready to shine through.